Hello friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these precious Preemie baby beanies. Now, I am using Loops and Threads Flecks yarn, and this video will be the fourth video in the Flecks collection that I am doing. I bought one ball of yarn in 3 different colors. This one, and this lighter one. And I'll have the names of them in the yarn particulars and everything in the description box below, so you can look there. But I bought one ball in each of those 3 colors, and I'm seeing how many beanies I can make out of it, out of them, okay? So far, we're doing great. And so this is the 4th tutorial in the Flecks collection. And I'm so excited about bringing this to you. One of the ladies in my Facebook group said that she needed a preemie beanie for a baby that was born at 24 weeks. So what I did is I went online, I Googled a chart saying how high, what the height is of a baby that was born at that stage. And then I decided, well, I'm going to make an extra small and a small. This particular one is for a baby, according to the chart that I'm following, because I'll mention it now and I mentioned it several times in the video. I am not an expert on premature baby sizes, but I am just going the best of my ability based on the chart that I found. And using our 22 needle machine, we are going to make this extra small one for a baby that's born somewhere around 24, 25 weeks, who has a head height of 3.5 inches and a circumference of about 9 inches. Then we're going to make one that's a little bit bigger for a baby who is born at somewhere around 26, 27, 28 weeks, somewhere in there, or a baby who has a head size of 9.5 to 10 inches circumference, but the head height of 4 inches. And that's the 2 sets that we are going to make together. I'm going to show you this one, give you row counts for this one. So friends, thanks for joining me. I hope this is a helpful tutorial. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and come on over and join my Facebook group. Once you have your supplies and your machine set up, we're going to get started. We're going to bring our last white and our first black needle in line with our yarn feeder. And we're going to cast on doing the drawstring cast on. So we're going to go in front of that first black, behind the next, in front, behind, all the way around. Just let that yarn slip through your fingers. Don't put any extra tension on it. Before we get to the end, let's set our row counter to 0. And it should be behind that last white, and into your yarn feeder it goes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put just a very tiny bit of tension on it for this first row. We'll add a little bit more for the rows after that, but this yarn likes to split until you get going. It comes apart very easily, and if you put a little bit of tension on it, then it helps to get it under that nook of that needle before the needle actually snags it and splits it. But we also want to go slowly on the first round, because that yarn has no weight to pull it down and help those loops go over the little red teeth. So if you go very slowly, it helps give it time to drop down over that needle, down that needle and onto those red teeth. And oh, this one looks like it's going to split. And for this first row, sometimes on the 22 needle, not on the bigger machine, just this little gaffer, it likes to split between those 2 red teeth. So you take your hook, your loom hook, and you pick up on that yarn loop and you put it over the 2 red teeth. This one's giving me some trouble. There we go. And now we go again. This one has one split piece too. And sometimes this is only for the first row with yarn that splits. There we go. Now we got it going, and now I'm going to put a little extra tension on it. For this particular yarn, I hold it between my fingers like that. Now, this is the least amount of tension that you can have using your fingers. But then I squeeze my 2 fingers a little bit, and I get just a minimal tension on there. And that's what we need for this to keep working, so that those needles can pick up that yarn appropriately and not split it. Okay, so we're going to continue in this manner for this extra small beanie, because I'm going to show you the size for an extra small and one for a small. Now, I am no expert on head sizes for babies who are still in the womb or when they're born prematurely, but I did look up a chart on Google, and for a baby that is somewhere that is born somewhere in a time of 24, 25 weeks. The circumference of their head is about 9 inches, which, you know, this is the smallest that we're going to make on this machine. So we don't have to worry actually about circumference for this one, but the height is 3.5 inches. So from the base of our beanie to the top, we need it to be 3.5 inches. And because we double our work, we need it to be 7 inches. Okay, we know that it takes about 5 rows approximately to make 1 inch on our machines. Now that's give and take depending on the tension and the yarn you're using, etc. But if we use that calculation and we do 5 rows per inch and we need 7 inches, we're going to go to 35 rows. Once we get to 35 rows, we're going to measure it. We're going to see where we're at, and we're going to go from there. So let's go for 35 rows, and then we're going to measure it. All right, so I just finished 35 rows. It takes just a second, and we're going to give this a little bit of a stretch, okay? Because when we take it off the machine, we always stretch our work, and that will give us an accurate amount of length that we have here. So I'm going to pop this down into the base. I'm going to hold it at the edge of that work with my hand there. I'm going to just grab it here. There we go. And I'm going to just bring it up to about where these needles are here. And I've got 6 inches. Maybe if I stretch it a little bit more, it's probably 6.25 inches. I need to go to 7 because then when we put it in half, it's 3.5 inches, which is what we need. So 35 rows gave me about 6.25. So I'm gonna do another 5 for sure. Let's see, one. I'm gonna do another 5 for sure to make another inch, but we know that that inch wasn't quite doing, 5 rows wasn't quite doing an inch. So let's do 7 rows. Let's take it to row 42 on our machine, and then we're gonna measure again, somewhere in there. The last one that I did before I did this pattern, I did 42 rows. So that's how, so I'm pretty confident that's what we're gonna need again. So go for another 7 rows till you get 42 rows, and I'll see you when you get there. Having completed 42 rows, I'm just going to put my hand in there to stretch it a little bit from the top part here. Now the bottom was stretched, and we're going to measure it, and I'm pretty confident it's going to be exactly because I've made one already, and 42 rows was perfect. Get that down there. It's hard to get it right lined up, but there we go. And when I do it, this one came to about 7.25, just a little bit more. When it's off the machine, maybe I'm pushing it too hard down at the bottom, but that's pretty darn close. So 42 rows is what we need, okay, for this particular project. I'm going to cut off a tail that's long enough to go around my barrel 1.5 to 2 times. I'm going to take it out, put it into the center here, making sure that it goes between the last white and the first black, because we still have to knit those two. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my needle. Okay, and we're going to cast off. Let me just get up beside my machine here, put a little bit of tension on that while I knit those last two. Then we can go ahead and pick up our stitches after the needle has dropped down. I'm cramped in a corner here. Let me just, there we go. That's a little bit better. And this yarn is very silky feeling, so it falls off these needles very easily. So be very careful when you're pulling your needle through the loops. Now we've got some slack here, so we can take off more than one at a time. And there we go. We have it off the machine. Now that we have our sweet little piece off the machine, we are going to assemble shortly. But what I want to do first is, this is one that we are making that does not have a brim. We're going to now make one in the same size with a brim. It'll be the same length when the brim is rolled up. But to do so, we need the base of our beanie, the actual body of our beanie, to be the same length. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to knit 42 rows. But we need to then add a certain amount of stitches to get a brim. Now, I think that a brim about the size of 6 rows is about a nice fold-up brim. So if I want 6 rows for my brim, I have to double that and make it 12 rows, okay? And so we're going to do 42 rows for the body, for the main beanie, and then for our brim, we're going to then knit another 12 rows. So for our smaller beanie, that'll fit a baby who was born somewhere in the weeks of 24, 25, somewhere in there, a smaller baby, we are going to knit an extra 6 rows for the, or 12 rows for the brim. And so now I want you to cast on the same way we did for this one and knit 54 rows. 42 plus 12 for the brim gives you 54 rows. Go ahead and do that, and then we will go from there. Now that we have both of our pieces off the machine, we're going to measure. So this is the first one that we did that doesn't have a brim. We needed approximately 7 rows or 7 inches, and there we go, a little bit more, but that's good. Okay, and then for this other one, all we did was add 12 rows so that we have enough room to fold over a brim that will then be 6 inches, or pardon me, 6 rows in height. Let's take our first one. We're gonna take our edge, we're gonna smooth out, and we're gonna pull. So again, this is for baby who was born at 24 weeks. Didn't go full term. It's a precious preemie. And I am making this video specifically for a lady in my Facebook group who just said that they have a beautiful baby who was born at 24 weeks, who's a little fighter that is now in their family, and how many rows would you need? So this is for you. God bless you and your little baby. I hope that everything is okay. You're gonna have to keep us updated in my Facebook group, okay? And so this would be the length that you would do for a baby born at 24 weeks. All I did just now was go around and reinforce that top. I'm going to pick up 1 strand or 2, make a knot, pull that knot down with my thumb. I'm going to stick my hand in this wee little baby beanie, put my needle in through that center, grab it with my hand so I don't snag the inside of this precious little beanie, bring it through, and then I'm going to do the same with this end. I'm going to cut this off with a little premature baby. I'm not going to reinforce this other one on the outside because, you know, I probably wouldn't have had to do it on the inside either. It's not going to get wrecked, but I'm going to just tie those two nice and snugly together. Put these back on my needle. And hide that to the inside between the 2 layers. Pulling it through and cutting it off. There we got our beautiful little beanie that is for a tiny wee precious little baby, and it is 3.5 inches high or thereabouts. Okay, we're going to put that one aside. We're going to then do the exact same thing to this one. I'm going to do that and I'll meet you right back. All right, there it is. Come on. Smooth it out. Turn it the other way. And now you see one's a little bit longer than the other because we're going to put a brim on it. Oh my goodness, these are so precious, so precious. I went ahead and I made some pom-poms using the same yarn, and I used the smallest clover pom-pom maker that I have. It has a number 35 on the back. It's the smallest in a set of 4. I'll link them down in the description box below this video, and you can order them. These are my absolute favorite pom-poms. I tried the second one up, but it was too big. These are my favorite pom-pom makers, and I show you in a video how to make them, so I'm not going to do that in this tutorial, but I will show you that we are going to take one of these. We're going to pop it through the center, bring it through. I'm going to take the other one. We're not going to pop it through the center. We're going to pop it off to the side so that there's a little bit of material in between so that it can grab when we are tying. Bringing it into the inside, we're going to pull up on them. We are going to then tie a very firm knot. 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to turn that inside out. I'm going to put these back on my needle. And I'm going to pop this in between the 2 layers, pull it out, and cut it off. Turning that darling little thing around. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I am in love. I am so in love. Now I'm going to take a white one, put it on the top of there. I'll do that and I'll meet you back. All right, magic of camera. I have that done, but I also made another set. This set, I'm going to say, is the small set. This we're calling extra small. Born for a very tiny, precious little baby. One that was born around 24, 25 weeks, somewhere in there, who would have a head height of about 3.5 inches and a circumference all the way around of about 9 inches. Now, this stretches 10 or even 11 inches, but it would be too tight for that size. So then you would want to use a different machine. But for a baby whose head circumference is about 9 inches or so and head height 3.5 inches, which would be a baby born around 24, 25 weeks, somewhere in there, this extra small set is what you're going to need. And we just made that together. For this one here, it would be for a baby born, you know, a week or 2 or 3 later than that. Maybe a week or 2. Pushing it up further would give it a bigger head circumference. But from the chart that I saw, weeks 26 and 27 would be a 9.5 inch circumference. So just a 1/2 inch more in this way. And so this would still fit. And for that one, we need a height of 4 inches. So to get that, I did 48 rows for this brimless one, and then I added 12 rows for my brim, and that took me to 60 rows. So here we have our small, extra small one and our small one, which will fit a baby that is born. I hate to even say it because I'm not, like I said, an expert on it, but if I'm looking at the chart that I'm following, then a baby that is born 26 weeks, 27 weeks, somewhere in there. And maybe you could stretch it to 20, 28 weeks as well. So those are just ballpark figures, but extra small and small. Let's recap. We did 42 rows for this brimless one. We added 6 rows for our brim, and that took us to 54 rows for that extra small size. Then, and that would give us a height of 3.5 inches for our beanie. For the small one, it's a bit bigger. We did 48 rows for our brimless, and we added 12 rows for the brim. And so this one is 60 rows. And that is born around 26, 27, 28 weeks, somewhere in there, if I'm following my chart. Okay, because then this is like 4 inches tall, and our circumference doesn't change. It just stretches a little bit more for a little bit bigger of a baby. And that's what we get using our 22 needle machine, and just changing the heights for the different weeks that the baby is born. So friends, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was beneficial to you. Again, I apologize because I'm no expert on the size of heads. and the heights, and I can only go by the chart that I am following, but extra small and small, and these beanies will look beautiful on those precious little babies. And I hope you have fun making them. Please show me your makes in my Facebook group, and bonus points if you can show me one with the beanie on a little premature baby. That would be so absolutely adorable. Just wish you all the best, and I pray that whatever little premature baby is wearing any of the beanies that you make, that they would thrive in and get healthy and grow and grow and grow. And so thanks again for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful to you. I look forward again to bringing you more videos in the future. But for now, we'll leave it at that. Take care and have an awesome day. Looking forward to seeing you again in the next tutorial.